This morning, the discussion over how to reform property taxes definitely heating up again in Tallahassee. Yesterday, lawmakers met to talk about reducing or even eliminating property taxes. The committee will continue to meet as they prepare for the start of the 2026 legislative session coming up in January. And joining us now to talk about this is House Representative Anna Eskamani. Anna, always good to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
So as you know, Anna, this is a complex system for property taxes, but it's critically important to funding schools, to local governments. So what are your thoughts as they have these discussions?
Well, yesterday we had a very informative meeting with the Department of Revenue and our state economist. And today we'll get a little bit more spicy. We'll be hearing from local government officials and the governor's DOJ team. And so I think it's very important for us to do what we can to put money back into the pockets of everyday Floridians, while also ensuring that some of these essential services, as you noted, like public education, police, fire, public libraries, are not going to be eliminated and not have a path forward. So we're going to be diving into the topic again today and tossing around a few proposals to try to give relief to our everyday families.
And Anna, you just heard that block alone. We're talking Seminole County, Lake County, saying we need to increase taxes because we're falling short here. So and it becomes complex. It's great to have no property taxes, but where do you make up for that shortfall when some of these counties are saying we're already struggling to keep up with costs?
Yeah, it's a great question. And this is the tension I have with my colleagues, because oftentimes folks are pitching sales tax increases, but you're talking about a doubling of sales tax. And the challenge with that is it makes our tax structure more aggressive. And if there's an economic downturn, all the revenue streams are decimated. You know, a solid tax structure will have diversification of revenue options. So these are some of the questions and challenges that we're facing as we try to find ways to deliver relief, while also not eliminating and funding essential government services like police and fire and public schools.
Yeah, and it's this big debate: are property taxes fair? Let's just focus on a senior. Maybe they've paid off their home, they own the land, but yet they're continuing to be taxed and taxed and taxed. And how do you fix that? Because obviously, I'm sure you hear from many seniors on fixed income that say, "Look, I'm being taxed for something I already own and I paid off."
Yeah, and seniors on fixed incomes, also first-time homeowners, they're paying more taxes than someone who has saver homes and portability. So there are these very clear challenges that are creating a more regressive structure, and one that leads a senior without a home. So some of the concepts have been mimicking what other states have done and creating exemptions and phases off for an elder that has lived in their home, who is retired. And that way you're doing more need-based support versus eliminating property taxes completely. And I think those are the types of solutions that we're looking for. But ultimately, Ryan, as you know, voters would have to approve on anything that we do. So it's very important that the everyday voter be plugged into this process.
That was my final question, just getting their feedback. What do you see as the next step? What will you be focused on during these hearings?
Well, candidly, the biggest feedback I'm getting is that folks want us to talk about property insurance, not property taxes. So that has been a theme for me in my district. But ultimately, this legislative session, we need to be tackling all the rising costs, from taxes to utilities to food and groceries and housing. So we can't stop here. We're starting here.
Yeah, it's what so many representatives like yourself are hearing from consumers, saying, look, things are getting much higher and it's tough for us. A good discussion. Got to leave it there. Representative Anna Eskamani, always good to have you on. Good discussion.
Thank you, Ryan.